Uh, my voice. My voice is not. It's not there. Anyways, hi guys. It's Monday. My voice is kind of sore.
Medical Coding
Uh,
Geek.com.
from helping my son train with this football, so you could hear my voice is a little bit hoarse. I wanted to do. Ooh. It's gonna be hard to do a podcast. Anyways, I wanted to do a video for the free CEUs, which by the way are up for the month of May. I think they're 18, so there's more, but I haven't gotten any emails yet to share those specific CEUs. But anyways, it's Monday, long week. I'm adjusting my work schedule a bit. I don't want to wake up early. I just talked to my son. Waking up early and it just kind of drains me because by the end of the day I don't feel like doing anything else, and that includes working out, which is something that I did prior to starting work. So yeah, lots of changes this week. Hopefully they're good, and I'll see you guys in the next entry. Everybody, it is Tuesday morning. I'm just gonna say the phrase "fake it till you make it." When you hear that phrase, how do you feel about that? The reason why I'm asking is because I woke up early this morning to kind of check some stats on the group. I always do my moderation and check the groups, how they're going. I woke up to a comment being reported for a post. It was really, the post was generally about, how do I get started? What do I need to do, etc. And one of the comments that was reported was lie. Lie in the profession, which I don't agree. I went to the comment and I deleted it. But then I scrolled down and there was one phrase that kind of stood out by the same person. Fake it till you make it. Now, I have mixed feelings about that, and I put my thoughts there below because it was actually advice given to me when I first started in CDI. Now, I didn't take it negatively, but I took it positively in a way that, yes, I don't feel comfortable in the field, and I've always explained that in podcasts and anywhere in presentations, that when I first got the job in CDI, I felt I didn't deserve the role. So I was given the advice, fake it till you make it, which I believe meant that, yes, you're not necessarily a CDI, but we hired you as a CDI. So you need to fake it till you make it till you deserve to be called a CDI. In other words, you have a very high learning curve that you need to deal with before considering yourself a true CDI, I guess, expert per se. So that's what I did. I took on the learning curve. I faked it. In my essence, the learning curve is the faking part, because in the back end, while the facade, the front part of yourself is, I guess, portraying that you are a CDI, in the back end, in the back of your mind, you don't feel comfortable as being a CDI. So in the back end, I'm doing what I can. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to research. I'm trying to get all this education so that way I can make it. Now, there are some, I guess, opposing views on this. What are your thoughts on that? Fake it till you make it. So I just listened to this new podcast by Stacy Buck, which, by the way, I've been bugging for so long to create a podcast, because the way she has, I guess in previous podcast episode that I've had with her, even just in general conversation, she knows how to carry on a conversation. So I just finished it. I highly suggest you listen to it. It's called Who Cares What Stacy Says. I'm going to leave it up to you to listen to it, because at the end she explains how she got this name. And it's interesting because I'm actually part of it. So again, Stacy Buck, her new podcast, Who Cares What Stacy Says? I think it's an appropriate title because I think, it just came up in conversation. But anyways, listen to the first episode. I highly suggest it. Again, Who Cares What Stacy Says? So this week I changed my schedule back. I could not wake up early enough, but with my regular schedule, I could always drop off my son and then come back and finish off work. What I'm really doing is I wanted to show you on my morning walk. The reason why I like working at home, as you can hear all this traffic, so I'm about to show you the craziness of what people call here in Central Florida I-4. If you can see all the way back there, it's very, very busy because that's a major highway in Central Florida. And it leads to this major highway. And apparently it's so populated that there's this traffic jam, this traffic congestion that leads to Orlando. So imagine if I had to work in Orlando or over west every morning doing this. I think I would drive myself nuts. So every morning I walk this. I'm very thankful that I can work from home. Everybody, it is Thursday. Thursday, again, is my podcast editing evening, but I'm not going to show you that. I think I've shown you enough podcasting stuff, but what I do want to, here it is. What I do want to share, because I know I've been talking about a lot of social media stuff, a lot of digital stuff. Where's the coding? Where's the coding, Brian? So what I do as a DRG validator, clinical validator, in my audits, I basically review charts and kind of validate, of course, the DRG and the clinical side, the clinical conditions. But I had one I do want to share, so I might do this frequently. I do have one that really caught my eye where I had to correct the procedure code, the ICD-10 PCS procedure code. So this was a patient who had an ST elevation myocardial infarction. Patient presented with chest pain, positive EKG, akinesis on the echocardiogram, troponins elevated. I mean, there's no way of disproving that. The patient also had respiratory failure with respiratory distress, placed on BiPAP. The one thing that changed this was, with a patient who has a STEMI, they emergently go to the cardiac catheterization room, and I'm sure they're going to have a stent or whatever it may be. But this case, this patient had a stent, of course, but then also an atherectomy where in the coronary artery. And unfortunately, the case that I had, the thrombectomy portion was coded with an approach of open. So for PCS, I'm sure this also falls under CPT. The approach is very important. So out of the full list from the cardiac catheterization report, all of them showed, that they did a percutaneous approach, except for this code. This code really stuck out like a sore thumb. And then if you're an auditor and you're looking over the DRGs, the list of diagnoses, the list of procedures, you can take a look at it if you're experienced enough. And I'll probably show you it, how I look over some things and I'm like, okay. And without even looking at the medical record, you can determine what's going to happen or what you need to validate, what you need to look for. It really sticks out like a sore thumb. So this case, all the procedures were percutaneous except for the atherectomy. And the atherectomy was coded as open. So I looked at the report, I validated the report. They went through the femoral artery, and I didn't see anything. When you think of atherectomy, you have to, an open approach, you have to, do a sternotomy, you have to open the chest. None of that was there. So it was a change. So I had to, write up a letter and say, hey, this is supposed to be a percutaneous approach, not an open approach. And this changed a lot of things. This changed the principal procedure, which then switched over to a drug-eluting stent in the coronary artery. That became the principal procedure. And that changed the DRG, the surgical DRG, from a major thoracic procedure to a coronary stent procedure. And the change in relative weight was so dramatic. So if you're an inpatient, especially if you're coding heart procedures, which I have done. I mean, I've worked in a healthcare system with an open heart, bypass, cardiac cath. You know it. I probably did it. So, I mean, that's one thing that you have to watch very closely for. Everybody, it is Friday. I'm in the middle of being, as you could hear, little beeping sounds. I am being consulted by YouTuber Blue Garcia. For those that are, I guess, wondering, how to create a YouTube channel, monetization and all that stuff. I mean, I went to Blue, and she's sending me all of this information. So I'm not going to show you the screen because I know every time I put it on this camera, it doesn't show clear. But I think out of this conversation, I'm just going to continue on doing this format with the vlogs and stuff like that. I think it's more real, it's more random. The Cures Act, man, I keep on talking about it, but it's stressing me out, and I should not be stressed out with creating content. I think that's what it is. I think I stress myself way too much. And again, Blue is sending me more stuff. So in the comments below, do you like these vlogs? I mean, I really want to continue it, but I need feedback. Let me know. All right, it's 2:30, and I'm just getting to my break. I started today at 8 o'clock, and it was a pretty stressful day. I'm walking because I think I just need to walk around my office because it's just been that kind of day. If you guys work remote, dealing with Citrix issues, and then dealing with just lagging of just accessing these medical records. With medical coders and auditors, you are based on a productivity. And when you have technical issues that slow you down, it messes with your productivity. And when your employer has certain requirements that you need to meet, it just adds a little bit of strain. And so that's what I've been going through with today, which comes to my topic about, I guess, being overwhelmed. Have you guys ever felt overwhelmed. I'm sure you guys have. Today was just was just one of those days. I think what triggered it was today. And that led to me thinking about this YouTube channel, which I reached out to Blue Garcia. And I think this format that I'm doing right now with the vlogging is where I'm going to go, because it's just so much to do. And it's to the point that I'm not having fun. And I think because when I started with these vlogs, I started to have a little bit of fun, and the editing process is so much better. Another thing that I want to talk about in terms of being overwhelmed is the feeling. You know, when you are feeling overwhelmed, it feels like this office here is filled with water, and the water level is just going up, but then you're down here with weights on your legs and you can't get up there, right? And that's what I feel like at certain times when I'm managing Facebook groups, when I'm managing a podcast, when I'm creating videos, and just looking at the stats. I think that's what's bothering me too, is when you put in so much work into something and the returns are not as what you expected. And I'm trying to keep myself patient, because, you know, it does take some time. I'm trying to revert back to when I did the podcast. I wasn't expecting great returns on the podcast. And even after 3 years, I mean, I have a good audience. I have a good audience, about, 300 to 400 people. That's fine. So after talking with Blue, I think I'm just going to stick with this format. And when I told her that, I told her there was a lot of weight that just came off the shoulders. It did. And I think I'm going to stick to that format. And I will, again, do the stupid Cures Act. I'm just going to say it. It's just for a medical coding professional, an auditing professional, to revert back what they had to do in their HIM days. It is tough. I haven't done anything HIM since 2005. 2005. And then to try to take what you have done and learned in school back in 2003, 2004 and try to apply that now, it hurts my head. But I will do it. I will create a video on the Cures Act. But it'll happen. But I think it'll happen on my terms.
MedicalCodingGeek.com